Look what money has done to you. Look what money has done to us. I'm dead because of you.
No, you're alive.
Yeah.
You're just a torso and head. You're alive.
I'm still dead because of you. What do I do with a torso and a head?
You go boing, 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 boing.
Now, what am I, Larry the Cucumber from VeggieTales?
Yes.
Pretty much.
Well, it's only fitting that we have Larry the Cucumber and Aaron Johnson with me today.
What? What's up? I am Aaron Johnson.
How's it going, Larry?
It's going pretty good.
Oh, that's what Larry sounds like?
I don't know.
In Josh's head, that's what Larry the Cucumber sounds like.
Well,
And
Josh hasn't listened to Larry the Cucumber in 10 years, maybe? I don't know.
No, it's not been that long.
Really?
I can guarantee you it has not been that long.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time we went over to your house in our pajamas and we watched VeggieTales
I
together.
don't remember.
wasn't
ever
that 2
doing
nights
that.
ago that you two did that?
I love how Paul just jumps in and Aaron's like, crap.
You figured us out.
Oh, no, it's not hard to figure out. We trust me. There's many things that are not hard to figure out, and that one is one of those things. But welcome to another episode of Use Your Words Podcast. Again, joined by Larry the Cucumber, a.k.a. Josh, a.k.a. Bouncing Head and Torso, with Aaron Johnson as well,
Yeah.
in the usual configuration of left and right.
I thought about switching it up because this TV thing here was invading my space.
Yeah,
And I was like, nah, I ain't letting that stop me.
really? Okay.
So
You
I
know-
sat in my normal
You
spot.
conquered your fears of the TV.
Yes. I get, well,
Or his insecurity of the TV.
why am I insecure?
Regardless of the fact, this just throwing this out there now. This
Yeah.
conversation is not going to be necessarily explicit, but maybe not suitable for younger children. I'm just
Yeah.
going to put that out there now.
Yes.
Especially because Mr. Johnson and that knows what we're talking about. I'm not saying that you're guilty of this.
I was going to say, because Aaron Johnson is very involved in all of this. I was like, oh, no, what the heck?
I hope you're not.
No.
That's definitely a performer page I would
Whoa.
stay away from. Anyways, regardless of fact, we're going to talk about an interesting topic today, I think personally. But before we get there,
Oh,
we have
I can only imagine.
I can only
I
imagine.
was about to do that
Anyways,
too.
we have Aaron and Brewer's Word of the Week. I don't have an intro yet, so yeah, you guys get no intro music on this. That's okay. But Mr. Brewer, you got your word pulled up for today that you have to get Mr. Johnson to define. So the word for today, Mr. Johnson, I'm hoping I am saying this right.
Yeah.
The way I'm saying it is suent.
Suit.
Let's hear how it sounds. Maybe
Suint.
Suint.
suent.
Suint.
So suent. I'll give you that. And I'll give you this. This will be my clue to you. It's a natural product. All right, Mr. Brewer, we ready to go? You got a minute.
Pressure's on. Just tell me what this is.
Okay, so
All I know is it's a natural thingy.
yes, it's
Does it have to? Does
Wait.
it relate with today's episode? Okay, no. All right. Then
I can't use any word in the definition, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What's another word for oil in your
Greasy.
okay.
Greasy.
Okay. The soap you bought that your parents gave you for Christmas, they claim that it is
Natural.
okay.
A natural greaser.
And our one friend used to make this animal noise all the time.
Our one. Whoa.
You can make the animal noise.
Yeah. Oh, what? Grease from a lamb or a goat? Like lamb
That's close
Goat
enough.
grease?
I'll give it.
goat grease?
The natural grease of the wool of sheep.
What? I don't remember what the word is now. Suint.
Yeah.
Grease. Goat grease.
The natural
From-
grease of the wool of sheep.
Natural grease from the wool of sheep.
It consists of a mixture of fatty matter and potassium salts. Uses a source of potassium in the preparation of ointments.
Wow.
There you go.
Dang, look at that. One and done.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah,
at that. And you like literally just made it just under that minute.
Yeah.
We got this. We'll get next week's too.
Don't speak too soon.
He's going to be spending this entire episode to figure out next week's word.
Yeah, right. So it's going to be a you and me show today.
Wait, how's that different?
Ouch.
I'm
Oh.
kidding, Mr. Brewer. I'm kidding.
Oh, now what are you doing? You're getting up and disturbing the peace.
Okay, so today's conversation, Mr. Johnson looks all so excited for. Over there, he's just kind of smiling and giggling, and I don't know if that's from the subject matter, the anticipation, or just because he saw something on Nature is Metal.
Yeah, no.
So, Mr. Johnson, what are we talking about today?
Oh, we are talking about something so exciting.
Oh,
yeah,
Depending on
we're-
what side you believe. Yeah, it could be very exciting.
What side I believe?
never
it's
mind. He didn't catch it.
Innocent mind. Oh no.
In
It's
our,
good. It's good.
Yeah, that's true. Buddhism.
But BDSM, Buddhism. What? Yeah. So with that, in mind,
Congratulations.
we're talking about porn.
I'm sure all the folks over at your church are like, "What? Buddhism?"
Oh, we.
Or have they heard that story from you?
No, not that I know of. Maybe a couple friends have, but not the people that I know listen to this. So yay for all you people.
Johnson in his mind. Sometimes I don't fully get it, but woo. So okay. So I thought we'd break this down into a couple conversation points. So first off, we'll talk about general stats because, well, it's good to talk about general stats about something when you're talking about a subject. Secondly, we'll talk about what are those statistics within the Christian community then, so segregating it kind of from the main community back to the Christian community. And then I will have a third topic that I'm going to save till we get there to discuss what that is, because I think that's where we'll probably spend maybe more of the conversation in than not. And
Sure
it's
thing.
not so much about, obviously, I'm making an assumption here. My first assumption here, and I know what happens when you assume, but my assumption is that at least between the three of us, we agree that porn use is bad.
I guess.
That was way too long of I guess. And then, of course, I get nothing from Brewer, so that tells me
He started talking, so I was like, wait, he didn't just say yes. I was going to say yes, but I was like, wait, he's not saying anything. So let's see what he says.
So you do have access to the notes, but before you expand them and open them up and everything, I want to ask you guys a couple questions because I want to kind of get us on some on a standard here of actually how big the porn industry is in the world, and it's actually quite big.
It's surprisingly big if you don't know the stats. Like I just know that what was it when the Super Bowl was playing last year? When the Super Bowl was playing, porn usage went down, but the fact that porn usage skyrocketed during the commercial times, it's like people watch it as if it's another TV show.
Well, there's a reason for that. One of the stats released by a company called Covenant Eyes. Now, I will say this: they make a product for phones and computers and that that does like a monitoring and that. So obviously, they're going to have a lot of interest in having porn stats. But one of their stats is that the average time that a person spends, and they didn't just delineate between male and female here, but the average time a person spends on a porn site is like 6 minutes, and then that's it, because they essentially, it's enough time for them to find a video, use it, pleasure themselves, and close the browser. But regardless of that fact, let me ask you this. Now, so this is from the 2018 Porn Stats PDF provided by Covenant Eyes. This is the latest amount of data they have. So in 2007, so this is a few years old, and this is the latest data they have at this point here, okay?
A few years. It's over a decade.
I know, but the numbers are still staggering. Well, how many $1 billion was the global porn revenue? And then how much of that was just from the U.S.?
I don't wanna know.
That's pretty shocking. It is pretty.
Numbers.
100 and no.
I said billion, so I'm giving you that's in the billion range.
Yeah. I'm gonna say 789 billion.
Wow, that's
Holy crap. That's a lot of money.
And how much of that is from the U.S.?
From the U.S. alone, I'm going to say probably about 450 billion.
Johnson, do you have any ideas?
Yeah, because I'm looking at it.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
Wow. I'm glad I do not live in Joshua's society
Same.
because that is a very deranged society. Thankfully, it's only 20 billion. That sounds horrible. I'm saying thankfully it's only.
Right.
Oh,
That's still a crap ton of money.
But
that is.
10 billion of that was from the US alone. Okay, this was in 2007, right? Now, the Free Speech Coalition then estimated that because of the rise of free porn sites, that revenue dropped 50% between 2007 and 2011.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Okay, so since Johnson has the side, collapse your notes. Collapse the notes.
why?
Because I'll tell you when to
He
expand.
wants to pick our brains.
I'll let you expand that in a few moments, okay?
Why were we giving it to look over if we can't look over it?
Because I knew you wouldn't look over it ahead of time.
Oh, I did.
Okay, well, if you looked at it,
But now I don't.
how many
remember
users
anything.
are watching pornography every second, according to a web security company?
Well, considering that half the households in the United States, based on certain surveys, say that half of them struggle with pornography, I would probably say we're probably looking at how many users? 1,000 users.
Wait.
Every
How many people are using it every second?
Every second. Like if you took a segment in time and just froze Earth right now, and you're able to analyze everyone in the
world?
Yes.
In the world.
Oh, in the world.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not just in the
Wait,
US.
How many
to
people are
say
in the world?
100,000.
Okay.
How many people?
There's
are
over
in-
6 billion.
Yeah. People.
Yeah.
People in the world.
8
Every-
billion people in the world.
Every second. How many
Every
people
second.
are watching porn? How many people are watching porn right now during this second while you're thinking
No,
about
I
this?
don't want to think about that.
Well, you don't have to count yourself because you're here.
Wow.
Dang. Shots fired.
I'm kidding.
I'm out of here.
Anyways, how many?
I don't know. Gosh, out of 8 billion people, gosh, 800,000.
Wow.
Hey.
Both of you, I don't want to live in your worlds.
Well, wait.
Oh, that's good.
Or is it 3,000 to 4,000? What is that? No.
It's 28,528 users every second.
That is very
Wow.
little. That is good.
That is good. Now, knowing that, then,
Ish.
right?
Still not good.
How many dollars are spent on porn every second?
That's the $3,000 to $4,000
Okay. Brewer?
Hmm.
every second.
Every second.
Man.
And they're not just talking like where Johnson's buying his porn subscription. They're talking about the people like Johnson who do the porn cameras, pay the actor, quote unquote, actress per minute, like $8 to $10 per minute just to sit there and watch them on a webcam. They're counting all that pay-per-view stuff, all that. So we're not talking just like Brewer goes out and buys a subscription to his favorite porn site. We're talking all the various ways in which porn can be consumed. So how many dollars are spent per second on the internet for porn? Brewer.
I'm calculating.
Number now.
You're
Three.
calculating.
2, 1. $1,700 a second.
Okay. $3,075.64 every second. So yeah, $3,000 every second is spent on porn. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's worldwide.
Yes, that is
Which
worldwide.
I do feel like that's surprising.
I
feel like it
wouldn't
would
say
be
that's
a lot
surprising.
more than that.
Well, here's some more.
Oh, well, yeah, yes.
Here's some more recent numbers. These are from 2017.
Oh, wait, wasn't this 2018?
No,
This is the 2018 report. So
Yeah.
they get numbers based on the available resources they have. So not everywhere is reporting data all the time. Stop playing footsies with each other. So in 2017, Pornhub, which is one of the world's most popular porn websites, apparently, they released the following numbers for 2017. This was their 2017 year in review. They had 28.5 billion visits to the website in 2017. That was 81 million daily average visits with 25 billion searches performed, which was 50,000 searches per minute, which came down to 800 searches a second for porn on their site. That came down Now, during this 1 year, they had 4,052,542 videos uploaded to their site. They had 68 years worth of content uploaded in 1 year. For people who are taking care of storage, that comes down to 3,732 petabytes of information transferred.
I've never even heard
Oh, no,
of a
I'm sorry, not petabytes, petabytes.
I've never heard of
That
a
is enough to
petabyte.
fill the storage capacity of every smartphone on Earth
That's a lot of sex.
in 1 year.
It's a lot of something.
Holy cow.
That is insane.
Where do you store that?
Data centers, big data centers, big disks.
Aaron.
Bad, Johnson, bad.
You didn't say it that well either, though. This is just bad. Okay.
Oh, this is the easy one. We can just breeze right through this.
This is.
Holy cow.
So yeah, the stats about porn usage are, and this is why I was like, let's have this as a topic. And I'm setting this up for the third part. The third part is the big thing. Now you can open up the stat pages.
Oh, okay. Right there.
Yeah. So this is something that is obviously, I hate to use the word popular, but it's a popular pastime of people.
Oh yeah, especially
I'm just like,
especially in the early stages of puberty and growing up as little kids. Not little kids, I guess teenagers, whatever. But the curious mind,
Too curious.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What I found interesting was the significant. Well, let me rephrase it. It's significant, but it's small difference between the number of married men and non-married men that say they engage with porn at least once a month. So the stat is that 55% of married men admit to using porn once a month, whereas 70% of unmarried. So only a 15% difference. It's significant where the number is big enough, but it's still weird that it's only that small of a percentage difference to me.
Oh yeah, that is shocking. Thinking about it's.
Well,
Anywho.
at this point, we're just talking about stats in general. We're not talking about like the Christian subculture.
I'm just saying for being married, like, okay, and well, once you have a wife, and people are like, oh, well, then I probably won't struggle with that anymore. Yeah, no, not
no,
true.
Well, and what's fun? Again, I'm using funny loosely here.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
this was a survey conducted by the Barna Group in the U.S. in both 2014 and 2016. What is interesting? Again, I'm using these words loosely here. They surveyed men 50 to 68 years old, and almost 50% of them were still using porn, internet porn, which I was like, wow. And then you look at the stats for someone who's like 18 to 30, that jumps all the way up to 79%, at least once a week.
Yeah,
Or month, sorry, once a month. Several times a week, that drops significantly in all categories.
Yeah.
The smallest being 18 to 30-year-olds, which are still around 63%.
Wait, several
So-
times a week. I'm
So-
sorry. This is of women.
Now,
I'm
there's
reading
also
the
stats
wrong
on
one,
women on women who use
Which-
porn as well.
Now, I guess
Yes,
porn isn't just obviously internet.
right.
You can do that because I've always, well, not always. I remember hearing like it's not the the videos that they would normally struggle with. It's like just like certain books and readings and stuff like that.
Oh, you're talking about the
yeah.
erotic romantic novels?
Yeah, that's
Well-
what I would generally hear. That's where they would get into that. It wasn't so much the internet websites, and I
maybe-
think you probably even told me that once
That might have
because
been.
you always like to be like in the mind of a female.
What?
Anywho.
Now, that might have been true back in the olden days.
Right.
But nowadays, they are finding that porn usage among females is actually growing.
On internet.
Yes. And what they're finding is 25% of married women say they watch, not read or watch an image, they watch porn at least once a month compared to 16% of unmarried women, which that's interesting that there's that flip-flop. Did you notice? Because 55% of married men and 7%
Watch
of
less.
unmarried, whereas in the women you have more
That is so weird.
married.
I think it makes sense.
It does. Okay. Why does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so now not speaking,
Speak as Josh here.
all right. Well, I'm going to speak as a normal person. Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to push out, I don't want to say something and somebody go, can't believe Josh said that. No. This is not Josh speaking. This is, I am a culmination of non-Christians that I know and how they view things. Okay.
We will call them Josh.
Rick.
It's Josh spelled like JOSSH.
Okay. All right, that's fair enough. So think about it. Women that are married
Okay.
watch it more than women that aren't married.
Yes.
That's what it's saying.
Now, men, when they are married, watch it less when they're not married.
Okay.
Yeah, but not a ton different.
Not a ton different.
Okay,
But okay, so when you're married, you can. It's easier. I mean, if you're living with somebody, it's easy to have sex. But if you're married, it's easy to have sex too. So if you're not married and you're single, you're in a sense not with someone. So those guys probably get themselves off by looking at porn while hooking up simultaneously. Married men have their wives. Now the wives know that men, the porn industry has created an expectation of women. So if a woman is with a man, I would see her more inclined to try to be up to par with what porn says she needs to do to keep him happy. That's how my mind is seeing it.
I say they don't need porn to have that because you have all the beauty magazines and all the articles about how to be the perfect wife and all the weird beauty standards and all that. Yeah, so you don't need porn for that. But okay, I'm not. I don't have an argument for or against it. I just know what the stats say.
I was just kind of like breaking it down in my head.
Okay, that's fair enough. Johnson, do you have a argument for or against it? Why your imaginary wife does or doesn't?
No.
Okay,
I don't.
I was just curious. So yes, porn usage is unfortunately kind of ubiquitous.
So you should use that for a word of the week.
Word of the week? What's a week?
I was about to say month, but then I was like, wait, no, week.
Yeah. Now, you guys can say what you want, say what you don't want. That's up to you. Okay. I'm just throwing that out there. I love Johnson's like facial expression, like, ooh.
Deer in the headlights. What?
Yeah.
What does he want from me?
I don't want anything. Anyways, you'll understand. So, what I found also interesting in the study is that they found no significant statistical increase or decrease in subscription to porn-based sites based on regions where more people report regularly attending religious services. However, where a statistically significant smaller proportion of subscriptions are initiated on Sundays compared to other regions. In other words, these people are like, oh, I just went to church. I'm feeling guilty, so I'm not going to buy the porn subscription today. I'll wait till Monday. But they're still buying it.
Nice. Yeah.
So, the quote-unquote Bible Belt of the U.S., guess what? Just as many perverts there as there are in California.
Yeah.
Does that make you sad?
I suppose, yeah.
Why does it make you sad?
Because.
Is it bad?
What? Porn? Yes, I would say so. Now, however.
Okay. What's the however?
I did have in my mind, does it have to be sinful?
Does porn have to be sinful?
Yeah.
How could you do porn that's not sinful?
Like, I guess maybe not necessarily looking at porn. Because if you're going, well, I'm talking about like using it as an educational kind of thing. Pretty much what Josh would have said that it would have been the wife would have been doing.
Okay, how are you using porn as an educational tool?
Dude, see all the whatever those weird freaking moves people do, thinking that might spice things up.
How could you
but you're not
contain yourself?
Well, I mean, it's like watching a movie for at least, a girl, guy, whatever, doesn't matter. Anywho, so there's a naked chick in the movie. Does that have to arouse you and make you lust out after them or no? No.
Does it have to? No, but
no.
Let's be honest.
Well, no,
most people will look at that and they'll be like, I got to go to the bathroom and be right back because, they're getting aroused or.
I'm so glad I'm not quite like that.
No, but if you're using that, like, let's say as educational material, right?
Yeah.
Let's assume educational material. I'm putting that in quotes.
Yeah.
I'm putting that in big quotes.
That's a very big stretch,
Okay.
But that's.
Yeah, it is a big stretch because are you lusting after that anyone in that film or are you, getting aroused by them in any way?
Right.
If you are and you're lusting, guess what?
It's a sin.
It flips over to the bad.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, if you're like, I want to learn these things to spice up my marriage, you don't have to get a video necessarily.
No, you don't. But you don't need a video to get those thoughts and feelings, emotions to start going. No. So, I mean, you can.
But
I mean, being a dude, it doesn't even matter if you're a dude or not. It's anybody. I mean, you can get those desires.
But let's be honest,
randomly.
guys are a lot more visually cued to things.
Yes.
With that.
Yes. At least as statistics show.
Well, no, in biology, guys are just a lot more visual in that regard.
Well, that kind of shows because, never mind.
But what I'm getting at is, how would you do an quote unquote educational thing? It'd probably be, I don't know if I'd use the word safer, but less arousal inducing. Nice. There's a phrase like a book or something like that.
Yeah.
Because
I feel
where the images are one solid color and you don't have the outlines and you don't see someone else. You see, is that what you're talking about when you say book?
I'm not even going into how they're drawn or anything. I'm just saying,
description,
just generic blob images as compared to, because if they're going to do a video, guess what? They're going to find the hottest guy and the hottest girl.
They're going to find one that they enjoy watching.
They're not going to take. Okay.
I love how he's trying to be the devil's advocate right now.
No, I'm not.
They're not going to cast me and the 500-pound woman to do the video.
Depends on what you're into, man.
I'm just
some people are into that.
I'm just letting you know that's not what they're gonna do for the video. They're gonna.
Well, videos like that wouldn't exist if people weren't into it.
They're gonna do, the Bachelor and the Bachelorette.
Yes. Josh just gave me a look. I'm like, oh no.
They will not use Josh.
No.
I'm too short.
Yep.
Okay, I guess
he was about to go somewhere.
No. Yeah. Now this talks about women that at least watch.
I
feel like I don't know what, but
right.
For talking about for men versus women being involved in porn, I wonder what the numbers are in that.
Oh, and the quote unquote number of actors and actresses. Yeah. And I put that in quotes as actors and actresses.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know the number off the top of my head. I was reading up some stats, and there was one guy who got an award because over the course of a year, he did 180 sex scenes with 3,000 women.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How? I don't want to know.
It's that's a lot of
And the stats say
multiples.
That most sex workers in that regard, they are having at least herpes and one other STD typically at any one time.
Oh my gosh. That's gross.
Yeah.
Is
there anything in your notes in regarding to
I don't know, why don't you read them?
No, the
actors
rest
getting doped up with drugs? What?
No, I don't think I had anything in regard to that because I don't think it. And there might be something in the third segment, but nothing necessarily regarding that portion.
Right.
But anyways, so now we up until this point, we've kind of talking about standard non-discriminatory between religious, non-religious, and that at the end we kind of touched on that religious areas don't buy porn on Sunday, but they'll buy it on Monday. Okay.
Because that's all the better.
Yeah. It's because you're no longer on church day. So therefore you may do it. Apparently that's a thing.
Yeah.
So so this Barna group, they do a wide range of surveys regarding this porn usage specifically. Their data is used by both Covenant Eyes, Ever Accountable, and a couple other sites. So they did a study in 2016. They found that 41% of practicing, not just people who say they affiliate with, but who are practicing, aka they go to church, youth group, blah, blah, blah. Boys, 13 to 24. No, so you, Johnson, are still a boy according to them.
Mm-hmm.
Use porn at least once a month. 23% of practicing Christian men aged 25 plus use it at least once a month, according to them.
Mm.
So now you're like, okay, that's kind of bad. Now there's some good news about this. So according to this one study, regular church attenders are 26% less likely to look at porn than non-attenders. However, here's where there's a little flip. Those that are from the fundamentalist and describe themselves as more fundamentalist. You know what fundamentalist is, right? Johnson, Brewer?
I mean, ish.
Ish? No.
No.
What's the ish, Johnson?
Just refresh me.
Refresh you.
Yes.
A fundamentalist. A person who believes in the strict literal interpretation of scripture in a religion. Does that sound right to your brain?
Yes.
Okay. Just make it sure.
Yes.
So what they found is people identify as fundamentalists are 91% more likely to look at porn.
Mm.
That's an inverse correlation that I don't think a lot of people would look at. Yes.
Huh.
So when all the studies really come down, and this is from Covenant Eyes again, 64% of self-identified Christian men view pornography at least once a month. You compare that to 65% of non-Christian men. There's no statistical difference really there. You're talking 1%. That is statistically insignificant. So we're pretty much like everyone else, according to porn usage. There was an article in here. It's from the Gospel Coalition. And the title of the article is "They Will Know You by Your Porn." So what it is they're talking about their conference that they had coming up, the Gospel Coalition conference. And this is a quote from their article that they wrote. They said, quote, "I interviewed hotel managers about this when I was teaching in the sociology department at the University of Virginia. All managers said that porn rates increases during conferences in general. That's normal because they have more guests. A few admitted that it seems to be the same or a bit more when Christian conferences come to town. One manager was a Christian, and he said a line I'll never forget. Unfortunately, they know you're Christians by your porn consumption is more than love when it comes to this."
Wait, say it again.
Unfortunately, they know you're Christians by your porn consumption.
Assuming that you're consuming more than normal because you don't have that opportunity.
Yeah.
To.
And so what they're talking about in the article is they're not at this point, they're not tracking the internet porn. At this point, they're tracking the, accessing on the menu and ordering the porn on the TV show that gets charged to the room. And so they said when Christian conferences come to town, it's usually a little worse for them.
That is not good.
No, it's not good at all. It's something that seems to be ubiquitous. Like I said, the stats show that, some stats show that Christian men are less likely, but then you look at the overall general stats, out removing the age group stuff, and we're 1% difference between the two, religious and non-religious. And I think that's a problem. And Aaron Johnson's just like shaking his head like, yeah. So,
yeah.
Now, where this gets interesting, and I think this is okay. This might sound a little soapboxy here, but there's a reason for this. So we probably hold pastors to too high a standard, like if they mess up once or whatever.
Oh, absolutely.
But at the same time, we also don't offer them the ability to have necessarily that openness with someone else in the congregation because they're supposed to be the pastor. They're supposed to be better than everyone else, right? That's my personal looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
And so the study that they showed, most pastors, 57%, and youth pastors, 64%, admitted they have struggled with porn either currently or in the past. This is from that Barna Group report again.
Mm-hmm.
They went on to report 21% of youth pastors and 14% of pastors, so non-youth pastors, so senior pastors, admit that they currently struggle with using porn. And yet a lot of those people, that they may not have anyone in their church to be able to talk to or confide in or get help from. And they might have to go and get help from another pastor or something like that. Now, that being said, Triple X Church, they are doing something where they have porn recovery groups just for pastors. So that way they can feel a little more relaxed about opening up, I guess, in the chats. Now, that being said, they are kind of expensive. I was looking at their pricing. They are kind of expensive to get into even. But so that is an option as well. Mr. Johnson's looking all distraught over here.
That is super. I don't know. That's really sad that I can see why some people would hold the pastor up to a higher standard kind of thing, but it's like,
but at the end of the day, they're human too.
We're one and the same. We all have the same, well, might not all have the same exact struggles, but we all face some kind of struggle one way or another, and that's just the one that they have an issue with. So why? That's frustrating and saddening.
Yeah. That
See, and that's where it's
what?
Man, for like Christians, like how do you say you're claim to be a Christian when you're one that's out there judging so hard against others like that?
There's kind of that I guess you could say that thing. I've heard this many times. It's the people who judge against something are usually the ones most involved in it. Have you heard that
Oh,
before?
I've heard that.
And you talk about that and you look at the stats, you're like, well, you always hear Christians against porn, and then you look at the stats on porn usage and you're like,
They clearly like it.
Christians are just as bad at liking it as well. Now, I will fully admit I have engaged and used in this
I'll
porn
raise
activity.
my hand
All
as
of us
well.
at this table have.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure most guys will at least once, unless you're that one guy who
Just doesn't have
lived
internet
back when there
ever.
was no internet and you were
Well,
a cowboy
Which there'd
in the
still
plains.
be ways to find out.
Well,
There's still ways to make something that happen, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's nowhere near as accessible as it
I
is
say
today.
you can't say the internet is the only thing, because
Yeah.
you always read. Let me rephrase that. I don't know if you read necessarily, because I don't know if you read, Mr. Johnson, but you always hear stories about
do.
older people when like they maybe found their dad's porn collection when they were younger.
Oh,
before the advent of the internet.
magazines of
They're
Playboy magazines.
Yeah, exactly. And they even make fun of that now in TV shows. So a TV show right now that's going on, Young Sheldon, which takes place as a prequel to The Big Bang Theory. The older brother of Sheldon, Georgie, he has his little stash under his bed, and they make reference to it a couple times in the show, just like a nonchalant thing, like, oh, this is to be expected. He's just being a boy. He should do it.
Boys will be boys.
Yeah, no. So I have a question for each of you
Okay.
before I get to my third point.
Fire away.
What? And this is nowhere in the notes, so you can't just read anything.
No, I'm just.
What can the church do differently or better to help address this issue? I didn't say like to help, resolve the issue necessarily, but address it. I'll go first here while you think on your thing. I think the biggest thing from my perspective is that this is maybe brought up once in a great while, like when a celebrity pastor is caught cheating or has kiddie porn or has porn on their computer at all, period. That's when the topic might be brought up for like a split second, and then it's immediately dismissed because it might be an uncomfortable thing. Because let's be honest here, how many people are you going to go up to, Mr. Johnson, just randomly from your group at your church, and you're just going to walk up to this girl you like and go,
well, okay.
well, I know
That one, no.
first off, there'd have to be a
mean-
girl you like. I understand. But unless there is one and we don't know.
I don't know. My mind is sealed.
But you wouldn't just go up to her and be like, hi, my name is Aaron Johnson. I watch porn. Now, I'm not saying you have to go that far. Okay. I'm not.
Right. No.
That's a little excessive. That's being a little too transparent.
As we
talked about.
Yeah.
But this is something where do you, the church, outside of maybe one-on-one conversations where it's people who are trying to figure out things, really isn't addressing it too often. It seems to only come out when it's when it blossoms into a big issue, and then the immediate thing is taken care of, and then it's swept under the rug again. That's just what it seems like for me. Johnson, Brewer, thoughts, comments?
What can the church do more of?
Yeah, what could it do more of? What could it do better of?
I mean, ultimately, it's just making more awareness.
Okay.
I think youth group, you'd occasionally touch on it, but not as much as it should be touched on, especially at that point in your life, because when you're starting to hit 18, I know a lot of guys, I know myself, the idea of, hey, it's legal to hook up with people, So as they're going through that time, the hormones are coming in and the body's still growing and stuff like that. I think youth group is a very important time for for pastors and youth leaders to start talking about it and making it something that is okay to talk about. Because I've noticed with some of our guys is when I bring up kind of like, hey, we can't be looking at images, they almost get squirmy and they start to laugh and they don't take it serious. And I think if it's something that as you gradually talk about, it becomes not in a sense of more desensitized to the thought of pornography, but more okay with it to where you can listen and it take in more information about it. Because I remember when I was young, for some reason I had an issue with saying sex. And I'm talking like when I was in middle school.
Right.
It was like the word sex was like, and I'm pretty sure that's getting carried over through high school still, and it might be working its way up the ladder. I mean, who knows? Everybody's becoming more sensitive these days, and
I don't know if they're necessarily becoming more sensitive about sex. And that seems to be
just
honestly
about topics that they don't find comfortable to talk about. That's what I mean.
I was gonna say, because honestly, I look at some of the younger guys, and well, they're hooking up, having sex younger and younger, and engaging with porn younger and younger. In fact, do you know what the average age right now that is estimated that a young boy is
12.
younger?
I would say probably more like 7 or 8.
Well, I mean, when you buy your kid an iPhone 10 and he's only 8.
Yeah. But the average age that a boy is exposed to porn is around 8 years old.
Wow.
Sometimes it's intentionally sought out, like on the computer, on the web, and sometimes it's unintentionally found through either, they're looking for something, because sex advertisers know what they're doing. They know how to
Draw you in, yeah.
Well, not only draw them. Okay. Whenever there is a big movie or event, porn studios always do like a parody of it. So like when the Justice League movie came out, they did a parody of the Justice League, but as a porno.
Huh.
So you have a young kid looking around for Justice League, and they look for the wrong things, or and they end up accidentally at that.
Mom, she doesn't have any clothes on.
What are they doing to each other?
Oh, man.
So yeah, anytime there's a big like world event that is generally seen as positive. They're not doing, let's do the Haiti earthquake porno parody. They're not doing that. But
They're okay.
But anything like positive like that just comes out, movie, event, they're doing a parody as a porno, which, just FYI. But anyways, go on.
I think if youth leaders and youth pastors started talking to kids younger, to make it more an acceptable topic, just so that they can listen, just understand. Because I remember last year I was going through a porn devotional just to understand a little more, and it was a pastor that wrote the devotional.
Okay.
On YouVersion, if you guys want to check it out. I don't remember the name of it. But I took notes because some of the stuff I found very interesting, and you don't think about it when you're using porn. And I think a big thing, we can go statistics, we can talk legal, but I think a big thing to help somebody to want to deter from it is understanding the psychological effects on the actor's side and the physical effects on the actor's side. Because we think, sex is enjoyable. Well, some of these people actually don't enjoy it.
Right.
And I mean, there's so much to it, and it is very intriguing to see how something that God has made to be such a beautiful thing between two people in a covenant, a marriage, that misused. The porn industry is a perfect example of the devastating effects, but the porn industry doesn't want you to know the devastating effects because they know you wouldn't be as inclined to support them. And I think it'd be really interesting, maybe, a few months from now, we maybe touch back to this topic and we can gather our research, because I'm trying to pull stuff now and it's kind of hard. So you obviously know the porn industry is hiding that kind of information, but I think we should touch base on psychological and physical effects.
Someone that has, I went to school with this guy, but he has a lot of data on this. And so disclaimer, I went to school with this guy. So I know him personally. And secondly, he does work with Covenant Eyes.
Okay.
His name is Noah Filipiak. I can never say his last name right. Anyways, he has a whole section on his website, Noah Filipiak, FILIPIAK.com, about it's you go under their blog, sex and pornography. That's a whole topic, and he actually wrote a book on it as well. So he has a lot of resources on it, and especially because he works with Covenant Eyes, he gets access to a lot of other resources as well, so he can get data. As far as if you're looking for data on like sex workers and numbers and all that, XXX Church used to have a lot of that information. I haven't been able to find it on their current website.
Okay.
So when they kind of flipped on some of the stuff that they were doing and kind of reorged some of the stuff, some of that data I think just got lost in the shuffle. But the data is out there. It's just you got to search for it. You got to dig down for it.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. It'd be a good thing for us to touch back on.
I'm going to go on to my third topic here now. Okay. Unless, Johnson, you have something you want to say.
I didn't even get to answer the question.
Well, you didn't look like if you had an answer or not.
So. Oh, okay.
So do you have an answer?
Well, I was going to respond to your whole, when you're saying like, how many people do I just go up to randomly and be like, oh, hey, yeah, my name's Aaron. I watch porn.
Yeah. Have you done that?
Not like that. No.
Okay.
No.
Woo! Something like it, but not
Yeah.
that.
See,
Hi, I'm Aaron. I'm a porn actor. Is that what you said?
Yeah, yes. No. I don't have the stash for it. So, like, I've found myself as the 2019 went on, as becoming more and more of an open book.
Yeah.
And like, for being, I haven't been at RBC too long. So, it hasn't been a year. So I don't know if they touch on it,
Right.
yearly or not, or something like that. But that's the one thing that I've enjoyed about going there, is getting tied into the adult Bible fellowship thing in the morning before service, which is pretty much just like the Tuesday night men's study, set up the same way, I guess, as Tuesday night men's study. But as the thing I've liked, that's helped me become more of an open book, I'd say, just seeing other people be transparent and open about things that they're struggling with in life and whatnot. So I feel like for that, it's good. And again, this is a small group of people compared to the whole church,
right?
Where it's like we don't have that fear of being singled out or like judged by someone and be like, oh, they can't believe they struggle with that. That's so disgusting, kind of thing, or whatever. Or so with that, I mean, I have become more open with several of the men that are in those studies, which has been cool. But yeah, as far as like Sunday morning, sermon thing goes, I'll have to wait on that. But I mean, for when Josh started talking about like the youth group and stuff, some of the kids are kind of squirming around the whole thing. I mean, I guess when being a part of Fuel and now Strive or whatever, I mean, it was pretty much a yearly thing, at least for a while it was, that I remember.
But you would have like one or a couple weeks, and then
there's really like nothing repetitive, because quite honestly,
do you need to be repetitive with it? That repetitive, I guess, where it's multiple times a year where you have a study.
Well, no, you don't have to do like dedicate the message to it, but as
try to be more of a accountability to the kids with it, without being a weekly accountability.
Well, then that's not on the
but
message of it. That's on the leaders of it,
right? Yeah, because you don't always have to have. So think of it this way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to break this up into big church and youth group. Okay, in your big church, right?
Mm-hmm.
You may, you have your pastor, you have your, depending on your church and how it's set up, your deacons or your elders or, your teachers and that, right? That help support the pastor, because the pastor can't do everything.
Oh, absolutely not.
Way too much to do.
No.
Okay. But you have those established who have leadership within the church.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How is that being addressed? Are they addressing, I'm not saying at once a month, we must do porn and pancakes at church. That's actually
that's a thing.
That's a thing. So
I would go just for the pancakes.
You don't actually watch porn.
Yeah,
I know. I'm just saying, I would go just for the pancakes. You said pancakes. I'm signed up.
Some churches do as porn and pizza instead. That was started by Triple X Church, and so what that was was like you would get the guys. It was a 12+ only thing. And so you would buy your ticket, and you would come. You would have pancakes or pizza or whatever food was chosen by that.
Starts with a P, apparently.
And then there would be a discussion about porn usage. Mm-hmm. There wouldn't be porn playing. Just making that clear.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to have that once a month. I'm saying, but touch on it regularly, so that way it doesn't come up only when something arises. But it's hey, look, guys, look up here. Realize this: your eyes. You're going to look at girls. You're going to look at women. You're going to be tempted. How do you control that? It's on you.
Deny yourself. That's what Jesus called us to do.
It's one of those things of not...
One of the things.
Yeah, it's not one of those things of, oh, this pastor down here got caught with porn. Maybe we should talk about this week, and then let's ignore it the next 10 years.
Okay, well, that is crazy.
Because guess what? Between that time of, maybe you only touch on it every like 2 to 3 years then, okay? At that point, because you do it when something happens. At that point, you might be cycling through people who are coming into your church. You're cycling through teenagers at a rapid pace. Let's be honest here. You only have teenagers for about 6 years, 12 to 18, and then they're off.
Right, off to college and then
off to their own life and everything else. So all these things just don't happen in a vacuum. So that's what I'm saying with that. I'm not saying it has to be like a every month or
no.
But
I guess as a
but here, let me continue here and then I'll let you finish. But what I see is good in your case, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is the leaders facilitate a group like that where you feel comfortable and then it can be addressed. So that's good.
Right. Well, I guess, and that's the thing where it's not like it's talked about by the whole group right then and there, obviously, but that's it all just. I feel like a lot of it comes from
Comes from what?
If you actually, for those that actually love each other and care to help them out with what it is they're struggling with.
Yeah.
So it's finding a group that is sincere and genuine about one, I guess, like the faith in Jesus and wanting to follow him. Because if they are, then they're going to want to help you, overcome whatever it is that's holding you back or from being obedient to God.
Right.
And so that, and as far as like having messages, I mean, I guess, yeah, it's good to probably talk about it at least once a year to have something, at least wow, what do you call it? Just not a single sermon, but a series.
Yeah.
Maybe on it.
Or maybe you have something like the porn and pancakes.
Or you could do something like, if you want to do something like that, you can do that. But because then, I mean, because I know we've talked about this with even other, I feel like, types of sin and stuff like that, where we have something that, is with mental health. Like, how can we make it, better so people with mental health aren't how do we help them want to come to church and not feel excluded type thing? And how do you help? But it's like, if you try and do something special for each individual thing, then it's like that really just makes a fat schedule.
Yeah, it can make a very fat schedule really fast. And that's why I said you don't do this like every month. You do this, maybe, as Josh pointed out, it's more on the leaders to initiate those micro conversations as far as, not necessarily like waiting for something to happen, as more being proactive about that.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be like a one-on-one. It could be like when we break up into our smaller groups, where we kind of, because I know when the pastor says something in a message and I'm guilty of it, I'm like, he's talking about me, So it's like, that's what I'm saying. It's like even like a 5-minute brief, like, hey guys, how you doing with this? If you're struggling, let just know, like our reassurance.
Yeah. That's good. That's I would think that is good. So I don't know, but yeah, it's hard. I feel like it's easier to make things like that happen definitely in smaller churches than it is bigger. Especially because then the bigger church you have, the more, kind of variety of people you have in there that will then, which goes to show that there are probably those people that are going to like try and will judge you and all that kind of cool, fun stuff, which is not helpful at all.
Right.
There's going to be the haters out there, so don't let that stop you.
All right. So, my third question is.
Let me get.
My talking point question, topic area. Should we just go ahead and ban pornography in the U.S.?
You can't, but you could try.
Okay. Brewer?
I mean, I would be all for it.
Of course you would.
But legally, politically, financially, it'd be near impossible. It's too big.
It's too big. Okay.
So even if you banned like websites and stuff like that, they're still going to find other ways to do something.
I mean, the big issue I think with pornography is it's so easy to get to.
Fair.
So if you, in a sense, if you banned porn sites being streamed, porn sites being existing, it's hard to say because how many sites are Canadian sites that you could log on to?
VPN.
You could just do the great firewall of the U.S.
But
become China.
Anywho, if there was a way for them to ban any porn site from being able to cross over through the U.S. internet zone, if you want to say that, and then images overall, but
you're that would tackle the internet porn.
Yes.
They can still sell it on DVDs then at that point. So we're talking full on ban DVD, magazines, internet, VHS, Blu-ray, Betamax.
Yeah.
All that.
Yeah.
So should we even go for that? And the reason I bring this up, so Daily Wire, Matt Walsh last December started this thing where we should ban porn, and then the Pope in Rome in November of 2019, he basically said that we should ban porn, and he demanded. The headline reads, and this headline I think is a little facetious, but it says Pope demands tech companies prevent kids from viewing porn. And he said it is their moral obligation to protect the children and protect people from porn. So is that tech company's moral obligation is my first question. Should we ban porn? And what are the arguments for and against it?
Well, I say it is.
And then I have another question too. What's the difference between porn and prostitution?
And see, that's where I was going to go too with it. It's because somebody can easily say, well, if I'm acting, I'm not really having sex. But then, we've allowed gray lines to be formed, and that is the basis that they use to defend themselves, is the gray lines. That's what I was going to say. That's going to be the challenge of trying to eliminate it in general, because if you, in a sense, eliminate porn, then even the sex scenes in movies that there might not be any sex at all would have to be eliminated too. Sweet and simple. All that would disappear. You would not see anybody be in any sort of a sexual situation on screen, in images. That's what it would have to be. So you couldn't even act out sex.
Well, not
that would have to be banned.
And even modeling, like for a nude model, that would have to be banned, wouldn't it? Because that's pornographic.
A lot of things would change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, if somebody goes, "Oh, I need porn," well, I'm sorry, but that's pretty sad.
Well, the brain has been kind of rewired that way.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's another thing. That's something else I think would be interesting to dive into.
What?
No, how the brain actually becomes weaker when you view porn.
Yeah, so
you lose brain cells in the frontal part, and it makes you more
susceptible.
Thank you. To the desires and temptations through the dopamine release. It was interesting because I read it about in that porn devotional, and pretty much once you do it once, it's easier to do it twice, and it just gets easier and easier and easier. And you can actually, by viewing porn enough, you view porn based on your morals and your tastes, your sexual tastes.
Right.
And over the course of time, your sexual tastes can alter, but you will claim it to be as a normal transition or a normal taste when really it is something that you've been exposed to over time. And that's also where the violence of women, they say, is connected to it, because there are certain porn sites and videos and stuff that emphasize that a very strong male control over the female, or they'll do slapping and spanking. It's just that physical dominance, and men in the real world have it now programmed into their head. That's how it's supposed to work, and they'll do it to women, and that's ways that women will be sexually assaulted.
So, in a 2014 study, it was conducted by Matt Planck at the Institute for Human Development in Berlin. They took 64 healthy male adults, and of these 64, they had a wide variety of porn usage and consumption, and how many hours they did per week. And what they did is they took MRIs of their brains, and they looked at the gray matter volumes in their brains. And then what they did was they, continued recording how much porn they used, and they found a negative correlation. The more hours of pornography consumed, the smaller volume of gray matter in their brain. In fact, it eroded in such a way that it's similar to the changes observed in some drug addicts. Now, they also found that there was less connection between the right and left parts of your brain as well, due to this as well. So it not only changes and makes your brain more that drug addict brain, but it also reduces that communication between the two parts of your brain. Now, the whole part about where you were talking about it evolves the taste over time. It's because they're chasing that dopamine high. They need to hit that new level of excitement. Think of it this way. Johnson's playing a first player shooting game. The first game, he just shoots the people and he gets all excited because he's killing people and it's great and he's having fun. And he's enjoying the game. 10 hours into it, he gets bored. But then they
Oh,
released a
doesn't make that
patch
one.
that now when he shoots people, blood spurts everywhere. He's now excited again. 10 hours later, he's bored with that again. Now he needs a new patch where he sees like appendages flying off and just keeps getting worse and worse and worse because he's still chasing that new dopamine hit. Same thing with pornography and sex. Now, you wanted stats. Let me ask you this. Now, this is they call this the average boy-girl scene rate. Unless they're, so for porn stars. So unless it's by a really well-known actor or actress, what is the going rate per video that they do?
Oh gosh, per video
Yeah.
for somebody that's not special.
Yep.
I guess.
Josh got on the porn circuit. What would Josh be paid per video?
I did read something. It was about actor abuse and stuff. And the one lady was saying that it's for.
Answer my question first.
I am.
Okay.
I am. She was saying that for her specific situation, she would get paid $500 to $700 to get to be with a woman, but to be with a man, she'd get paid up to $1,000
Per video.
per video.
Yeah.
So if you do 163 videos, that's a lot.
A lot of money.
It is. Continue.
So yeah, it's around $1,000.
I was gonna say a few hundred.
So
Well,
yeah, and of course, thank you, internet. Of course, they bring up new stuff. But now this article is over 5 years old, but there was a company that started. I don't know where they're at now, but they're like, oh, porn stars are only getting paid $1,000. Let's do this. Let's make an auction site where Joe Schmo can go and auction to make a video with whomever. Yep, they did that. At the time of this article, like instead of the $1,000, the woman got $3,500.
wow.
And they were all rejoicing on this article, saying, "This is such a big breakthrough for porn."
Now, what would be interesting is to find out how long the average porn video takes to make. Seriously,
Yeah,
is it a whole day thing? Is it a week thing where they get hours upon hours and they try to find the best parts of all of it and they craft it into this video?
No idea.
Like how much work
Goes
much?
into it.
Yeah, that'd be.
This sounds crude, but I'm gonna guess it's definitely more than one shot. Literally,
Probably.
I'm not talking camera shot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, so they're getting paid to have sex on film. So what's the difference between prostitution and pornography? Why is pornography legal in that regard?
Other people aren't paying for it.
But
Well, no, they're being.
so prostitution is
It's
Aaron sitting on the corner.
yeah.
Someone comes up and pays him for sex.
Yeah.
The little old granny around the corner is like, "You're a tall drink of water. Here's $100."
Porn is prostitution that makes money.
So what's the difference between little old granny coming up to Aaron, paying him $100 to have sex with her,
Why we gotta do that?
versus Josh and him going on the auction site and winning and getting
porn star.
a porn star, and that's not prostitution.
I guess if they're both not filmed,
Nope.
then
Nope.
that's prostitution.
That's an interesting. That's an interesting article, but
Yeah. I guess
It's like in the place of context. Like if there was a video, like if somebody was recording a video of someone hopping into your back seat, you handing them a wad of $500, and then you start having sex with them in your back seat, and someone's recording this. Is that prostitution, or is it stranger or like
stranger?
I don't know,
porn?
like because if you were to take that video and upload it to a porn site,
Yeah.
it'd be considered pornography because it's intended to be viewed by multiple people.
But at the same time, if he goes and pays that person directly, that's still prostitution.
But now, if a porn star
Wait.
were to take money out and pay another porn star on camera, and they were to perform sex,
doesn't
is that prostitution?
No, you said paying the person directly.
Right. He picked up on it.
So it's kind of a contract-y type thing.
Well, I mean,
so what the difference is between prostitution and porn is who is making the financial transaction.
Yeah.
the user.
If the two actors involved are paying each other for sex, one's paying another for sex and then filming it and uploading it,
That's
that's
prostitution.
But if the studio is paying the actors legally, and there was a whole California Supreme Court case on this, about this whole thing because they were actually sued over this whole process. It's called California versus Freeman. Is the California Supreme Court case on this, that it eventually, what it is, it brought it down to the fact that because the studios are paying the quote unquote actors and actresses, and they are being paid to star in a film that just happens to have sex in it and be only about sex, that's how they're able to get around it.
That doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, it does, but it's stupid.
But that is legally how they are able to do it. And that's the point that Walsh and the Pope have picked up on and said, well, we should call prostitution then and make it illegal. And then, therefore, get rid of it.
Thing broke out.
I mean, I don't know.
That's frustrating.
But what I don't get is, see, this is what I don't get about the law is sometimes it calls upon the context, and sometimes it calls upon the process as to be the guidelines of the legal versus non-consequential and consequential. Like I just don't get it. It's like, oh hey, I pick and choose based on what I'm going to get out of the deal. That's what it is. Why can't it be based on the process, or why can't it be based on the context? Period. Porn stars are getting paid to have sex. Most movie stars do not have sex.
On camera, at least.
Well,
what happens in the trailer stays in the trailer. Haven't you not learned anything from Vegas?
but no, I mean, most of them, when there are those sex scenes, they are not actually having sex. They're making it look real. That would be acting.
What if
when
really
you are
you
having it, you are performing.
What if they really are and you just don't know?
And maybe they are.
Okay. I'm going to ask you this one, Mr. Brewer, because I want to delve a little bit deeper into your head here. One of the arguments about why porn. So again, Matt Walsh, he brought this up, ban porn, and a bunch of people like, and I'll be honest, me, I was like, I can't get on the ban porn wagon just because of the fact that legally I can't go and say, well, I can't impose my religious will on our people. Now, if you want to bring up the whole argument of it's just hurting people and that, we can have that discussion. But his argument from a lot of it was he just wants to impose his religious view on things. And I was like, I can't get behind that. I believe that people have the right, even if I disagree with them, to believe what they believe and do what they do. But here's one of the arguments that came against Walsh. So, and then I will read you his argument for why that argument is bad. And I want to hear your response. So the argument is porn cannot be banned because protected expression, according to the Supreme Court. And that is true. The Supreme Court has said it is protected under First Amendment, which is weird, but regardless. So then here's Walsh's answer. Is a man engaging in speech when he masturbates on camera? Porn defenders say yes. But what if he does it on a park bench without the camera?
Wait, what?
That was his answer.
So
and I just
porn is protected by the First Amendment.
No, yeah, I get that.
Yep.
Okay, so if he is using his right to freedom of speech, masturbates in front of a camera, it's okay. But if he does it on a park bench, it's not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was his answer. And I was just like,
what the heck?
I was like, first off, there's a whole other lieu of things happening on that second one, which make it wrong.
Well, yes.
Public exposure, public indecency.
But then what? I mean, aren't there porn videos out there where they do it randomly in public? Is that literally a crowd of actors around them?
Here's a dirty little secret. Those are all actors. The reason these quote unquote public ones, for the most part, from your studios, quote unquote, they're done that way, like you said, for that riskier behavior, for that dopamine hit.
Right. So then
you're taking that next person of their taste evolving into the more quote unquote adventurous.
The risky side, yeah.
Yep. And so they stage a fake risk.
Mm-hmm. Just go to freaking Burning Man and just have an orgy with a bunch of people in a tent.
I'll pass.
I mean, same, but
is that what you do?
No. I'm never going to Burning Man.
I'm like, what is going on here? What?
I didn't know that Burning Man was. What the heck had that kind of stuff in it until because I heard about Burning Man from this dude in Madison because there's an octopus like thing there that had flames shooting out of it. That sounds freaking sick. And then I was like, man, these people look kind of scary here. And then I was reading up on it, and there's read that there's orgy tents and stuff. I'm like, that's okay, all right, yeah.
You're like, and we're done.
Yeah, not interesting.
Yeah, I
So-
know. It's like on one hand, great, and then the other hand, you're like,
Yeah.
oh no, no,
I
no, no,
thought
no, no.
fire and destruction of man-made, like, I don't know, friggin' statues or whatever sounded sick. And then
And
all
what's
that
going on
was-
behind the statue? You're like, I'll
Well,
pass.
yeah, I hope that's not going behind. Well, it could be going on anywhere. I don't know, but yeah,
No, huh?
mm-mm.
All right.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. So what?
As I say, Johnson, do you have anything else you'd like to add, or Brewer?
I don't know. I mean,
I have a quote at the end, but
Okay.
I want to hear if you guys have anything that you
Oh.
guys want to add first.
I don't know. I guess with my experience of watching porn in my past, I don't know. It's been so destructive.
And nothing good comes from it. Like,
I mean,
I
in the
love how
moment.
people.
Tense 30 seconds of pleasure, and then
Yeah,
That's
and
it.
then it's
But even
gone.
after
And
that,
then-
you're just like, well, hey, you
well,
know,
as I say, the immediate after effects are guilt, shame.
Yeah, at least as being claiming to be a follower of Christ, it's just like, what the?
but
heck
even
am I
besides
doing?
that, like, let's say you're on there for an hour or something. You know, let's say you're on there for a while. You sit there and you get done, and you're like, oh, I could have done a whole lot more with my time.
There's that too.
Yeah.
But then I think of how much more I could have done with my time for a lot of things besides porn.
I just like how people.
That sounds
No, no.
really bad.
No. It's a thought
Oh.
I had that I am not sharing right now.
Oh, okay.
I just I like how
Okay.
a lot of people out there are just like, and I mean, you know, porn also kind of goes along the lines on random hookups too. You know, you have that dopamine hit of being with someone
Oh, yeah.
new. There's different things that the person brings to the table, you know, stuff like that. So I like how people are like, oh, sex is just sex. No, it ain't. Like if the cold hard truth of what these actors go through, what these actors see,
How do you know what they go through or see?
how do you know what they don't?
I don't.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. We need to recap this on another episode to
So-
talk about the psychological and physical effects of pornography on the actors. Like, I think it'd be really interesting to learn.
See, I don't know, because I mean, okay,
That's the thing.
This I've read about why people would want to get into it, and this one chick just loves the whole thing of having sex, and she loves being a porn star.
And
like-
now ask her 10 years from now.
I guess I'll have to look.
You'll have
her
to
up
find
10
her.
years later.
Careful how you look her up, though.
Yeah, let's
Um,
say.
But no, like,
interview with-
just quick snippet.
Yeah.
The sexual assault cases that never get touched. The overdosing, the drug overdosing, the
That's-
random deaths that cannot be explained. The
I feel like that's
how some feel trapped because they feel like their only worth is in having sex, performing on screen. How some of them were entered into it because they were sexually abused as a child, so they felt like all they were good for was sex
being used as an
Yeah.
object.
as another thing. What about human trafficking and how some of the people that are on there are actually people who get abducted, and these home videos are actually people trying to make some coin on these people that have been abducted.
Yep.
I mean, there's so many things, and you don't see much negativity about it besides, you know, oh, hey, your wife or your girlfriend found out you were watching porn. Now she's all upset. Like, that's really all you hear when it comes to the negative sides of it. And it clearly shows that there is plenty more behind it that is being covered up. And you can just look at news articles and stuff.
Yeah.
They'll do tidbits on it, but there's a lot more juicy information that goes against the porn industry, and it just has to be found.
Sounds
So-
like a lot of arguments against for banning porn. That's what those sound like.
Yeah, that would be. But
Why
then
did you bring
is-
that up earlier?
Yeah.
I don't have any information in hand.
You
so-
don't have to have all the stats, but some of the stats you
The
brought up are
ideas,
good
yeah.
arguments.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Yes. And there's probably more I'm not even thinking about, too. Just I can't even think about
Yeah.
adding that to my.
Well, you can throw in the whole argument of, you know, the fact that the average age of a kid being exposed to porn is around 8.
Like, do you really want your kid watching, you know, two adults go at it, or would you rather them be in the backyard throwing the baseball around? I'd rather them be in the backyard throwing the baseball around.
Well, think about this on a human level, okay? Johnson, your nephews.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay, now imagine all your nephews and nieces, right? You know them, right? But the average age of a child being exposed to porn is around 8 years old.
So who's 8?
Don't
or
say
older?
their name. Okay. But imagine that and again, not necessarily that they intentionally sought out, that they might have saw it by accident because they were searching for
Or their
a
friend showed 'em.
superhero or their friend showed them, an older friend, or a friend's older brother.
I've got a story.
Oh, no.
I like how you both said it at the same time.
I think I know this story.
What did Brewer show you?
No, it wasn't me.
Point on the stall where he touched you.
It was terrible.
This is before me.
No, this is.
And watch involves you.
What? Josh said
Okay.
he's going to turn me into a monster.
Anyways,
Anywho,
Johnson, your story. Story time with Johnson.
Oh no.
this doesn't have to do with me.
I gotta think.
It
We'll make
is.
this quick.
It is the nephews.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Are you sure you
It's
want to put that?
YouTube. Well, no,
Aaron,
it's-
what is this?
I'm just talking about, when you have kids, looking for stuff,
Uh-huh.
how it pops up.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they were looking at, Pokemon and stuff like that, and different Pokemon
Oh,
on
no.
YouTube.
Mhm.
And it was like if Pokemon were real life, so it'd try to make a realistic image of the Pokemon.
Right.
Yeah. And then obviously recommended. Yeah, of course there's girls dressed up as Pokemon characters showing all their bust and all that great stuff in the video. And
That's the one thing I don't look forward
it's-
to with YouTube in the coming years.
Well,
it's
Go on.
yeah. So I was just thinking, I was like, man, this that I don't know how many years, is that a couple years ago or just a year ago? I mean, it wasn't that long.
You're
ago. It
right.
was more kind of
But-
recent, but it's like,
But so
Hmm.
as of January 1st, 2020, everyone who has a video on YouTube has to go through and mark either their entire channel or video by video if it's safe for children or not.
yeah. Now,
And
how do you do that?
How do you
Well,
dictate what's safe and it's not
Well, no,
safe?
it's not that. I guess it's like, so for,
There's
kids-
guidelines on it. There's
Yeah.
actual legal guidelines. It's called COPA.
Cool. But so yeah, say a kid is on YouTube roaming around. I mean, is it a feature that you have to set up on YouTube to make it only
Right.
show?
Yep. So you could set it up so that way, like, let's
Okay.
say the kid is logged in with their account,
Mhm.
and you could say only show kid approved
friendly.
stuff.
Cool.
There's also for like phones and that, there's a whole app called YouTube for Kids that will only
Oh,
show that stuff.
There you
Oh,
go.
interesting.
So the other thing that they did was recently YouTube has also turned off if your video is marked as child safe, it will you can't use like the mini player or play in the background, and then B, it will not autoplay the next thing anymore on mobile.
If it's child safe,
Yeah.
just so
Nice.
it doesn't stumble upon. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
just-
I like
cool.
that feature.
So
That's cool.
so these are things that are happening that's causing some backlash in the community because some people are feeling YouTube's being over restricted from that, but that's a whole other,
That's a different thing.
I'm sorry. I don't want your I don't want to see your
Because-
busts.
yes, that
watching
that
woodworking.
exact thing was happening to kids. Or they would be watching like a Pokemon thing, but it would, and then they just go through, and then all of a sudden they're watching like a creepy pasta of Pokemon murdering other Pokemon,
Yeah.
and eating their entrails.
Happy
Yeah.
tree friends.
That too.
Yeah.
So yes, there are some changes, and if you haven't gone through as a YouTube creator and updated your settings for either your channel or video by video, YouTube just like, okay, your videos won't be shown. Period.
That's good. So yeah, there's
And
that.
by the way, we're marked as not safe for children.
Good. Yeah, we ain't safe for your kids. We dangerous.
Aaron, real dangerous.
Only Aaron is when he's watching his
Aaron,
porn.
white gangster
Oh my
dangerous.
gosh, what? Yes. But so no, yeah, I guess for the last things to say is it's just been damaging.
Wow.
I mean, I guess
It has been
porn is
damning.
damning. Wow, I can't freaking talk.
Damning, damaging.
Yeah, both. Yeah, it's both
Yeah.
of those things. So I'm just combining it. It's a new word. Yeah, I made it up.
Damaging. I
Yes.
can't say it.
Yeah, you went on my
I have
level.
I have a question for you, Mr. Johnson.
Yeah.
And you may choose to answer or not answer, your choice.
Okay.
And let me prepend it with this. There's no long story with this. Just I'll prepend it with this. So at this table, me and Brewer have Ever Accountable installed. Have you thought about reinstalling?
Oh yeah, I was. Yeah. I meant to get in that earlier. Anywho, I have thought about it. I just haven't done it yet. I'd like
Okay.
to.
Well,
Because I know I can't remember. If I said that it's not helpful, that's
yeah,
not true.
you did.
Okay, I
Yeah,
did.
you did.
Okay, I guess it's
And
not
that-
that it's not helpful. It's for me. I didn't want my fear of you guys seeing it and like you guys seeing it, me feeling like an idiot about it. I wanted that to be between like a me and God kind of thing, and not just like, well, I'm not going to watch it because then Josh and Paul are going to see me like, Aaron, what the heck you doing?
And
Why
so-
it's there.
but it's that
yeah.
trust thing, You're not sharing. And what I'm saying is, you're not just sharing it with people you don't trust. If you don't trust one of us, then pull us off the list.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not that. It's not that I don't trust you.
You explicitly have to add us to the list.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I can't see anything on
Yeah.
your profile.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying it's not. It's not the. It's other people seeing that I messed up with that.
Yeah.
You just don't
And
like
then
that
me
in general.
No, it's me being concerned that you guys see it more. It's me being more concerned that somebody else sees I'm screwing up with this, other than God knowing I'm struggling with this.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
Because we never ever share our screw ups with one another ever.
Nope.
I'm being facetious
Oh,
there.
God.
But I mean, are you afraid that we'll see what you saw and it'll trip us up?
No, that's no.
I was going to say, I don't even think we can. I think if something does come across, it's blurred out anyways.
It's me feeling bad for the wrong reason.
You're feeling bad.
I don't want
towards
you.
the wrong
I don't want
person.
you guys to be my motivation. Motivation to not
Right.
watch.
Well,
porn.
it's not that we're your motivation.
No, yeah.
It's where you're okay. Aaron messed up. Just check in on him. What's going on? And it's not hey, Aaron, I see you screwed up. Ha 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 ha. It's Aaron.
No.
It's not Aaron
that.
screwed up. All right, Paul, you and I, let's hang out together for the next 3 weeks while we shun him.
Again, that's not it.
So what you're saying is that at that point you were wanting to be the opposite of transparent.
No.
No, you should let us try to figure this out. Hang on, I
don't want you because you're gonna take forever and we're wasting time now.
Not. All right, ready? All right, go.
My gosh.
All right. So what he doesn't want us. He doesn't not want to watch porn for us. He wants to not watch porn for God.
Okay, that's literally what I just said a little
Yes,
bit ago.
but I got it now.
Anyways,
Because I would if I did it, I would still open up to you guys about it, and that also becomes a thing where it's like, okay, am I going to be obedient? Where instead of you guys just automatically seeing I screwed up with it, am I going to be open and honest with you about doing that and kind of thing, and being obedient? Where, because I mean, we're told to confess, our sins to one another in order to help, growth and stuff like that. So that also is another thing for me. But I guess now at this point, I'm kind of back to where I was when I first thought about it, when I first did it, where it's like, it's just, I mean, it's good to just get you out of it, I guess, quicker in a sense.
And that's
or at least watching it,
and
makes
that's
you more self-conscious about it quicker, which
and that's why I wrote back in the day. I was like, it's ultimately it's a tool.
Yeah.
You have to decide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's why I wasn't like, Johnson, installed.
I know you're not using this just so you can look at it and not feel bad about it.
I was just like, okay, that's Johnson's call. That's your call. I don't care.
So
that's ultimately a tool. I'm not going to sit here and call you a tool and hit you over the head with a hammer or anything.
I'm a tool that listens to tool. Yeah.
Okay.
You're a 2-in-1 tool.
All right. Anything else I'm sorry, I put you on the hot seat there.
Oh,
Johnson.
that's
and anything else you want to add before I hand it over to Brewer?
No, it's just, for me, it's destructive, both of how I think of myself, because I've found I haven't recently found, it's always happened, but it's like after falling into that temptation of sin, it's like immediately I'm like, oh, you're a piece of trash. And then I just hate myself for the next however long I let it last.
Yeah.
That, and then, I mean, it has a huge impact on just, I guess, relationships, friendship, relationship, whatever, with females. It has an effect on that of how just, I guess, making it more awkward.
Yeah, it can be.
And it just can destroy the ability of being able to grow in a relationship with another, I guess, a female. I guess for my case, it would be a female.
I say it can also be damaging because it's funny. Girls know when we look. They know when we're looking at them in a wrong way.
Some do, not all.
But some are too concerned on themselves. Whereas others that are more aware of the surroundings, they can tell. I mean, when you have someone that's real open to you, and if you're really into porn, she's going to start to sense something's off because your intent of viewing her is not her, it's her. So, I mean, I think, like you're saying, it can be damage your relationships. And I think people don't realize. No, I agree with Aaron. I think it's it's damaging. There's really no good outcome that comes from it. I mean, you can sit there and try to defend it all you want, but
It does make money,
Yes, it does.
yeah,
It's making less money nowadays
which
due to free porn sites, but
and probably pirating and stuff.
right, yeah. There's a lot of
but
the
I mean, I liked how a coworker talked to me today. He was like, "Dude, stay single." He said, "I just think he has a very rough marriage, but he's like, stay single. You won't be able to get any more women if you get married." And I'm thinking to myself, I don't want more women though. I want one. I want one that I can come home to. You know, and that's where I'm kind of in the line with banning porn, because I want to be able to stay focused on one person. And
Right.
with that ability to access porn, I always have to be checking myself, and I always have to be, if there's a movie where there might be nude scenes in it, do I even watch it, or is that going to cause me to stumble and think wrong, or I mean, it's like I honestly would like a life to where I couldn't open up my phone, deactivate some stuff, and then jump into it, and it's just like it's kind of like that fear that it's right there, even though you have to choose to go to it. I mean, don't get me wrong, Ever Accountable it's a good barrier. It really is. And, even, with me turning on the screenshot thing, it even makes you think even more. It's like, hey, are these images going to get caught even though they might not be bad? Should you even go towards this way? So it kind of helps to put even more of a barrier in there. And, my other phone, I just recently turned screenshots on that. I mean, I don't really use it, but it's sitting in my drawer. So I turn screenshots on that, so that way nothing that I do on that phone won't be spotted by you guys. So it sucks. It really does. I don't know if you can ever actually overcome the temptation of porn.
It's one of those not a destination until you reach heaven things. It's a journey type thing. Where you're going to continue to have to improve yourself, unfortunately.
Overcome the temptation? Probably not, but overcome giving into?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yes.
But yeah.
But that's take time.
And that's the difference. Yeah. I don't think we'll ever get to a point in the world, unless we go under dictatorship, where porn will be banned. I just said porn will be banned. Wow. Where it will be banned. It is bad.
Yeah.
I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, I don't. And with how the Bible ends the world, if anything, I see it becoming something that everybody's supposed to be a part of.
You'll have little Johnny born at 2:04 a.m. By 3 a.m. he'll be in front of a screen watching porn, just to desensitize him to the world.
Get him ready.
Yep.
Start him young.
Anything else, Mr. Brewer?
No, that'd be it.
Okay. For me, I would have to say I it's going to be a lifelong thing, and I don't see it ever getting easier. As far as the number of bombardments coming every day.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But that's where you have to control your mind more than anything. But that being said, we would appreciate it if you left us a review at ratethispodcast.com/words. It will give you the device specific links for whatever device you access that URL on. So that way you can leave us a review on iTunes, on Podchaser, or various other locations, depending again where you're coming in from for you. And I figured I would leave this with this last quote, because this is from crosswalk.com on this issue. And this kind of summarizes my thoughts on this in regards to church. Accepting the fact that at least half of Christian men, pastors, music ministers, missionaries, and those in children's ministry included, have an issue with porn is a big pill to swallow. We want to see the church in a positive light. We don't want to picture little Jenny's daddy relieving himself to pictures of naked women or men. We don't want the problem to be this big, because the church is in serious trouble if it is.